Alright, let's start it. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
So, welcome back to the marketing management class. And for tonight's session, we are going to discuss regarding marketing strategy chapter 3. Regarding the marketing principle number 2, that all customers change. How are we going to manage the customer dynamics? So the agenda for tonight's class, we are going to have the introduction and then elaborating the approaches for managing customer dynamics. We have there the evolution approach on the customer dynamics, the life cycle approach, the customer dynamic segmentation approach, customer lifetime value approach, choice models. And then we are going to discuss on the framework for managing customer dynamics from the inputs, outputs, and process. And then managing the customer dynamic example, I will give you some demos on the customer dynamics approach. Okay. So all customers change. Okay. Second. Yeah. All right. So all customers change. So another underlying issues that facing managers is that makes the marketing decision difficult is that all that the customer is changing. Yeah. So why customer change? Anybody can have the idea? Do you have any idea why customer keep changing? Putra? Effie? Why do you think you are changing?
Following the trend, because we have changing events in our life.
Yeah, so you have events in your life. Yeah, what else? There is trends that is making you keep up with the trend that make you change. What else? Putra, what about you?
What's changing me?
Yes, what changed you as a customer?
My interest.
Interest. Okay, your interest is changing, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Wania?
Income.
Income. Okay, income. Yeah, the more income
I
you
earn
have,
more, spend more.
the better your taste of the product. Yeah. Okay. So customer needs and desires for most product and service change over time. Due to that, people change due to aging. Because you are aging. We are aging. So the more aging you are, the different perspective of a product you see. So when you are young, you are not looking for any insurance. But when you are getting older, you will be starting to think about insurance. Okay, so the age make you change. And then also the experience. When you bring a car and then you have a flat tire. So you are overheat of a car. So you think, okay, Europe car, I don't want to buy Europe car anymore. It is mostly the sickness is overheated, something like that. So experience make you change. and due also to the trigger events. Yeah. And then customers are embeddedly in industry or market will change over time. So therefore customer needs vary not only due to the inherent difference in people, in heterogeneity, but also as people and market change. So what does it mean? Customer, not also that customer differ due to the heterogeneity, but also the people and market also change. So it makes the customer dynamics. The more age you are, then your perspective of product is changing. The more experience you have, the perspective of a product is changing. Though, so that we need to adapt our static segmentation on the customer is differ of all the customer based on generic needs by focusing our existing customer and accounting for their time dependent needs. So customer dynamics are the changes in customer preference that occurs over time. So customer dynamics, that the customer changing is due to the customer preference that is changing over time. Yeah. So we need to consider the customer change in order to make your product or services sustainable in front of the customer. So there are 5 sources of the customer dynamics. There are discrete life cycle. So starting when you meet your boyfriend, your girlfriend, and then you fall in love, getting married, getting pregnant, having a family. So when you are still meeting with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, you are still using motorcycle, something like that. And then when you get married, you think about buying a car. And then when you getting pregnant, you start to try to have a bigger car because you're gonna have a babysitter, and then the baby there. Yep. And then the more baby you have, the bigger car you want to have. So it is the discrete life events. And there is typical life cycle. What is typical life cycle? Typical life cycle, as the people age, they become more focused on risk reduction, less willing to change, and more focused on comfort and health. Yeah. So in the typical life cycle, the rate of change is slow. But in the discrete life event, the rate of change is immediate. Yeah. So as the people ages, they become more focused on risk reduction, buying the insurance products. Yeah. So that is typical life cycle or maturation as people age. And then the source of customer dynamics, the number 3 is product learning effects. Yeah. The product learning effects. The customer might learn after using the product for a time that there are certain specialized or high-tech features they would like. So when you buy a bicycle, or buy a car. Okay, you buy a car, and then there is no feature there, and then you, okay, I think I need the Windows, automatic Windows, yeah, another feature, and then I want some Android monitor, Android uh, Android monitor, yeah. And then people start to learn the product again, and then okay, looking for the um, electrical air conditioner, not only manual. There is some electrical the learning effect, the learning effect. So the more people learn, the more they change. Okay, I don't want to have the manual car anymore. I want to use the matic car. So they learn. They start to learn from the manual car goes into the matic car. And then the other source of customer dynamic is product life cycle. During the early stages, consumers may purchase more new features. In later period, they may get more price sensitive. Yeah. The product life cycle. Example. So the Toyota Crown, yeah, Toyota Crown. We have a Toyota Crown. Toyota Crown. Oops, sorry, Crown. So this is the kind of old cars, yeah, for old people. Mostly people using the Toyota Crown is old people. Yeah, the car is very good, but the average ages that people buying the Toyota Crown maybe around above 60, above 50. So that makes the product become obsolete or identical with the old people. So the product life cycle is sometimes this is like this, the product life cycle. Okay, this is the growth, the growing product, the sustained product, the harvest product, and the decline product. When your product ages is around 50 years old customer, yeah, and there is no young people that is buying your product, then your product becoming decline. In the end will decline. Nobody will buy your car because it is identical with the old people. So the product life cycle then finish. Toyota Crown never been not going into production anymore because nobody buy. The younger generation do not buy Toyota Crown because mostly on the old people. So in the product life cycle, we need to make sure that the younger ages also buy the product. So it keeps like Toyota Avanza. Yeah. When people get married, they start to buy Avanza. People get married, they start to buy Avanza. People get married, they buy Avanza or Xenia. So the product life cycle will keep on living. So the growing stage couples will buy Avanza. So that's why Avanza becoming the most sustainable product of car product ever, starting from year 2000 until year 2021. 2000 until 2021. 20 years old already now. The product is still there. Because the product life cycle keeps renew. Yeah, keeps starting from the growing stage. And then the environmental level changes in economics, in the government, in the industry, and in the culture. This gives the rate of change of slow to immediate for the customer to change. Yeah. As the culture around the health food changes, consumer preference in response to dietary concerns. They start to stop eating calories, carbohydrates, gluten, fat, yeah, MSG. They start to avoid those kind of food due to the health food cultures. But it is slow to immediate rate of change. So these are the sources of customer dynamics. Any questions? So far so good? Araso?
So,
All right. So there is a fundamental assumption on the marketing strategy. Customer dynamics is a fundamental problem. Fundamental problem that all firms must address when developing an effective marketing strategy. Customer change. Not only they differ to each other, but they also change due to the life cycle of their products, due to the event triggers, due to the learning effects of the products, due to the environmental changes. Failure to understand and address this dynamic will lead to poor business performance. Because you fail to understand and address the customer dynamics. So marketing principle number 2, all customer change and an effective marketing strategy must manage customer dynamics. Example, Buick. Buick failure to manage customer dynamics. What happened in Buick? Customer need to change. Customer change. When in bike and in the Buick, they move to different supplier. Left Buick with a smaller portfolio of older customer. Yeah. So there is time when the average customer of Buick is around 60 years old. Yeah, 60 years old. That is the average customer of Buick. The brand become associated with the elder people. And the sales drop to 50% because they failure to manage the customer dynamic. Say they failure to manage the product accordingly following the customer dynamics. So that's why the current product of Pajero, there is facelift from the old Pajero to the new Pajero. Facelift change. Even the machine still the same. But they conduct the facelift. And then facelift until 2020 change again. Prototyping the expander for the Pajero. So they want to keep following the customer dynamic. Yeah. Because of the expander sales is going very high, very fast, they prototype the expander model and then adopt it in the facelift product on the new Pajero. So that is on the example. Alright, so next we are going to see what is the approach for managing the customer dynamics. There is some evolution on the approach for managing customer dynamics. Yeah? One is life cycle approach. Life cycle approach, we use the generic stage of growth and their position in the life cycle to determine customer preference and associated strategies. So, what is that? Okay, customer product life cycle. Okay. Life cycle approach. In the life cycle approach, we see that here in the customer product life cycle approach. So in the life cycle approach, we have customer and we have the product life cycle. We have the life cycle is comprised of introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. In the product life cycle approach, in the introduction, the product just, so the description of the stage, the product just launch on the market. Most relevant features are still unknown. The features still unknown. It is having a high price, and the seller focus on finding new customer and promoting the product trials. So just having the introduction to the market. And then in the growth life cycle, they start to gain acceptance in the market, and sales expand quickly. Users are more comfortable with the product and know which features they want, more focused on retaining customer and generating repeat sales. Customers become increasingly price sensitive in the growth stage. And then it is now in the maturity stage. Why we call it maturity? Because it has the peak sales there. The product is widely accepted. Yeah. And the growth began to slow because fewer new users are available. Market become competitive and some firms drop out. Intense price competition reduces the profit. Some sellers focus on niche segment to avoid competitive pressure. And then decline. There is now destructive competition and changing customer needs and desires to lead to product decline. The sales and profit going down. Firms with higher costs without unique advantage exit the market. Market often consolidates with fewer suppliers. So there is product life cycle here. Yeah. So because of the life cycle approach of the product, yeah, the life cycle of the product determine the customer preference. Yeah, determine the customer preference. The life cycle approach uses generic stages of growth and their position in the life cycle to determine customer preference and associated strategies. So in the introduction stage, the customer preference is that they still do not know about the feature of the product. And when it is on the growth stage, they start to notice on the product features. On the maturity stage, the demand is very high. People are ordering the product. And the decline, the product cannot compete with the substitute product, and then they start to decline. So the life cycle determines the evolution of customer dynamics. And then dynamic customer segmentation. segments a firm's existing customer on the basis of their similar expected migration patterns. So in the customer segmentation, in the dynamic customer segmentation, the customer migrate. They do migration. They migrate. So from the we have the let's say using the RFM model. RFM model. R is constitute of recency, F frequency, M monetary. Recency. Customer usually they are recent. Every once a week they go to Alfamart. Every once a week they go to Alfamart. Now Putra has not been to Alfamart for 4 weeks. So customer migrate. They change. Not recent anymore, but less recent. Okay, another example. Okay, so customer change, they migrate, they go to Transmart every once a week. Now they less recent. After 3 weeks, then go to Transmart. So recency, there is some dynamics in recency of the customer. And then number 2 is frequency. Used to be that the frequency of transaction, transaction is high. They buy milk, they buy Indomie, they buy blah blah blah. The frequency is very high. Of the transaction is very high. But nowadays they come only buy 1 or 2 products. The frequency going down. Yeah. Number 3 is the monetary. They used to have the volume of transaction very high. Once they shopping in the Transmart, they buy, the transaction is around 2 million rupiahs. Once a week, 2 million rupiahs. Now it is now decreasing into 500,000 rupiah. So there is dynamic changes on the customer segmentation. Even though the segment is the food and grocery lover, food and groceries lover, because their transaction is mostly in Transmart, but they are changing that food and grocery lover, they have very high transaction in the food and grocery lover, not Transmart only. Yeah, but in Transmart, usually they transact in Transmart. The recency change from the recent to less recent, from the high frequency to less frequency, from the high volume or monetary to less volume. So they change. Eventually they start looking for giant. They go to the All Fresh. They go to the Happy Fresh. So basically they migrate from one supplier to another supplier. Dynamic changes within the same segmentation, the food and grocery lover segment. but they move from Transmart to Giant, let's say, or to, what is the name? The other one, the big one, Grand Lucky kah? Still there? Okay. All right. That is on the customer dynamics. And then the customer lifetime value captures the migration of each customer according to his or her expected migration path over the entire lifetime with the firm. There is a question. How much is the customer lifetime value? Yeah. Sonia. Sonia is the customer of bank, let's say bank BCA. What is Sonia lifetime value in BCA? So let's say the average balance is around 50 million rupiahs per month, average balance. So the lifetime value, jadi so the bank can get, what we call that, interest or net interest margin from a customer, yeah, net interest margin. Let's say 1% net interest margin. So from 50 million rupiahs, bank get 1% of net interest margin per year. So let's say Sonia has 20 years in BCA. So, and then what is the growth of her wealth? How much is the customer lifetime value within the BCA? So, the customer lifetime value captures the contribution of each customer according to his or her expected migration path over the entire lifetime with the firm. So that is also making there is the approach. Customer lifetime value is also the approach of managing the customer dynamics. Any questions? So far so good? Kapish?
Mantap.
Okay. Alright, so evolution of approach for managing customer dynamics. Okay. We have the life cycle approach, we have the dynamic customer segmentation, and we have the CLV, customer lifetime value. In the lifetime approach, there is customer life cycle, product life cycle, industry life cycle, which determine the customer dynamics. In the customer segmentation, that the segments a firm existing customer on the basis of their similar expected migration patterns. There is migration patterns in the customer that we can identify the migration pattern using the hidden Markov model, or may use lost customer analysis, or we can also use the RFM model analysis, recency frequency monitoring, to identify the dynamic customer segmentation. And then the customer lifetime value captures the contribution of each customer according to his or her expected migration path over the entire lifetime with the firm. uses discounted cash flow, account for expansion and retention expectation. Okay, so in the customer lifetime value, let's say we have the so what is Sonia customer lifetime value? We calculate that using the discounted cash flow. So every month Sonia gets salary, and the salary has the growth, salary growth, and then we conduct the present value towards today. We conduct present value, net present value. Okay, we conduct present value for the next 20 years. So the bank or the firm calculate the cash flow of Sonia for the next 20 years, and then he conduct the present value divided by the interest rate for using the risk-free. Let's say using the risk-free rate 6%. So if Sonia has income, let's say 20 million divided by 1 plus R. And then the second year, let's say the second month, the next month is 1 plus R. Oh, the second year, yeah. Okay, this is the first year. Okay, first year, let's say salary is 1 billion or 1 billion rupiahs. Yeah. Second year 1 billion and 50. Yeah. So 1 billion rupiah per month is 80 million rupiahs. So the first year is around 1 billion divided by 1 plus R, the interest rate. The second year, there is some incremental, let's say 10%, 1.100 divided by 1 plus R. What is pangkat? Yeah? Pangkat, the power of 2. Yeah, power of 2. And then until the 20 years. Totally, how much is the Sonia lifetime value? Oh, let's say around 20 billion. So that is Sonia lifetime value. Okay. All right. So this is the approaches using the life cycle approach, dynamic customer segmentation, and the customer lifetime value. All right. Life cycle perspective. Yeah. So basically, assume all customers, market or product industry move through a sequential set of stages as they mature. Yeah. Applies a standard set of marketing tactics in each of the stage. The pros easy to apply. Cons miss many unique trigger points and the migration path. Okay. So when we have the customer segmentation, in the customer segmentation there is stages. Okay. Food lover. Let's say food lover. The segment is food lover. What is the stages? Okay, they start to they love to buy local food. Okay, and then when they are in the senior high school, they start to the KFC. Usually in the small, they love local food, yeah, bakso, somai, and then goes to KFC. And then when they work, they start to eat in Korean food, Japan food. And then when they start to success, they start to trying for the, okay, let's see if Korean food is here, maybe Korean, KFC. What is the next stage? Yeah. And then when they get old, they start to find the more health food, yeah, health food. No MSG, no sugar, no salt, yeah, no oil. They start to buy the health food. So for the food lover, we need to identify what is their stage. Yeah. So your campaign supposedly accordingly with their stage on the growth, sustain, harvest, and then they start to decline. Yeah. Do not consider that they are in the same stage all of the time. The customer is dynamic even on the food lover. Yeah. So usually they still eat MSG here, MSG still eat, and when they got more concern on the health, no more MSG, no more MSG. So the customer change even though they are food lover. Yeah. And then on the customer life cycle, attempt to capture how individuals typically change as they age and reach common age-related milestones. On the product life cycle, propose that various products go through 4 typical stages. There is introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Industry life cycle, there are 5 stages. Early establishment, and then innovation stage, checkout stage, maturity, and decline. Okay, so we talk about the product life cycle, yeah, before, and then regarding the customer dynamic segmentation approach. So, customer dynamic segmentation approach evaluates the existing customer behavior and needs in each of the acquisition, expansion, and retention stage. Okay, so you have your acquisition, expansion, and retention. Acquisition, expansion, and retention. What is acquisition? This is new customer. What is expansion? Existing customer, but we expand the product into more product holdings. Retention, there is indication that they are going to convert to another competitor. You need to retain, to make them, to keep them loyal. You give loyalty program to them. Okay, so when we are dealing with the customer, segment, let's say they are a digital savvy customer. The persona is digital savvy. Yeah? It will be a different approach if they are new to you. Okay, this is new. Whatever I need to do, whatever I can to make them convert to me, to make them buy my product. So because they are new to your product. And then for the expansion, so this is already your customer. You need to sell more products to them. They have the iPhone, so let's sell the tablet. Let's sell the iPad. Yeah. So for the acquisition, so for the, let's say for the iPhone, if you want to expand, you need to sell more products to them. So you try to do the cross-selling, upselling, whatever. And then the retention, you give loyalty program towards the customer. So, different stage, different campaign. Yeah. On the acquisition stage, this is begin with the first contact. Before the first purchase occurs. So, when prospect and early customers have the similar needs. This is the acquisition stage. Okay, they are now using Vivo. They are using Samsung. Okay, bro. You buy this product. Okay, you will get a lot of features. Something like this. You explain the features. So that is acquisition stage, because from Samsung, you conduct the acquisition, and then they buy iPhone. Okay, for the expansion stage, the firm trying to do the upsell or cross-sell to expand their sales and increase the engagement with the existing customer. So you have the iPhone. Why don't you try the iPad, tablet, whatever products? So there is different approach, because you are in the expansion stage towards the customer. And then the retention stage, deal with the customer who migrate to another company or another product, not because of the mismatch, but because they have a basic propensity to switch in pursuing greener pastures. So they just want to switch. You need to have different program, different campaign to retain this customer. Yeah. So the customer change due to the dynamic based segmentation, which we call acquisition, expansion, and retention model. Araso? Capish? Questions? Any questions? So far so good? Okay. So this is on the customer dynamic segmentation approach, the acquisition, then expansion and retention stage. Let's say that there is customer here. Customer. Okay. Oh. All right. Okay. The customer. We have A1 and A2. Let's say the A1 is the first time customer coming to the branch, coming from out of town. So after he come, he may be not going to come to you anymore. So he will be the lost customer. And there is customer, there is the citizen of the kecamatan or the area, the citizen of the area. So we call this the persona, let's say, on the learner, product learner. Ya, jadi they start to learn the product learner. This one is first time coming to town, first timer. If you are you need to make a decision which one you service the most, the product learner or the first timer from other city. Which one you service the most? Which one? The product learner or the first timer?
First timer.
First timer is coming from out of town. He just come to the city, just come and then back to his hometown. Yeah, so he will never coming back to you anymore. So we should service on the product learner the most. Yeah. Okay. All right, no worries. And then they try to get your products. Okay. And then they learn about your products. And then they come to the expansion stage. And the expansion stage, there is two options. They are satisfied or they are not satisfied. Yeah. On the expansion stage, let's say they have the product and then they use your product and then okay, all right, I have the iPhone. Okay, good. I want to buy the iPad. I want to use the the tablet? What else? Something like that. The product holdings getting more. Not satisfied? They lost again. And then come into the retention stage. So all right. On the retention stage. So we need to make a loyalty program to them. Yeah, loyalty program so that they are not convert or not migrate to your competitors. So based on this acquisition, expansion, and retention model, different stage will be different approach. Yeah. So what is, because the customer change, they not only in, so first they come to you as in the acquisition stage, and then they will be changing into the expansion stage, and then they will come the time that you will need to have the retention program because they are in the retention stage. If you are conducting lousy marketing strategy in each of the stage, the customer, you will lose the customer in the end. But if you have the appropriate marketing strategy, then you will keep them in your company and you will receive or you will get the contribution of their customer lifetime value. You will get to have the customer lifetime value of the customer. Yeah. Let's say Sonia have 20 billion US dollar or 20 billion rupiahs in her pocket in the next 20 years. If Sonia migrate to another company, you lost customer lifetime value of the potential wealth of Sonia. Right. So far so good. Any questions? Arasa?
Rasa.
All right. Okay. Next is we can use the hidden Markov models. Yeah. Hidden Markov models to identify the migration of the customer. So, this is quite tough. Hidden Markov model. All right. Hidden Markov can uncover the states of customers' behavior as well as how those states evolve, because each state describe their common behavior exhibited by some group of customers at some point in their relationship with the firm. Hidden Markov model is a form of dynamic segmentation. When to use it? To understand the dynamic or stages of customer relationship with a business, you need to when you need to understand the dynamic of customer relationship with the business and to dynamically segmentation of the customer base. to predict when the customer might change stages, which may imply more or less value of the firm, or to determine when to proactively seek to build customer relationship. How it works? Yeah. Wait a second. A customer relationship with a firm exists in one of several possible unobserved or hidden stages. Customer behavior varies depending on the stage. That a stronger stage customer likely buy more than one in a weak stage. Alright, customer behavior serve as an input into the hidden Markov model, which estimate the 5 outputs: the number of visible states, probability that customer is in each stage, transition probability, the conditional probability of behavior, and the effect of marketing in moving customer across the stage. To dynamically segment the example, okay, so let's have some example on how to conduct the hidden Markov model. I share you my screen. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So this is the mortgage customer. This is the mortgage customer. Mortgage customer. So there is current, default, and failure. Yeah. So the current meaning that they are the payment is still on time. Default, the payment starting to delay. Yeah. Day past due is increasing into more than 30 days. Fail, meaning that they are default, yeah, or fail to pay the loans. So this is the current, default, and failures. So this is the probability of the current will keep current. Current going to default. Current going to failure. This is probability of default going to current. Default going to stay in default. Default going to failure. Or failure going to current. Failure going to default. Failure going stay in failure. Yeah, this is the probability of the situation. Yeah. So let's put the probability here. Yeah, this is the probability of the condition. And then this is the, let's say this is the stock of the house. Stocks of the house. So the stock of the house in the current is 100. In the delinquent in payment 20, stock in delinquent 20, and in the failure is 5, or default is 5. So we need to calculate the stage 1 result. Stage 1 result. This is the what is the migration of the customer, that they are still current in mortgage and then delinquent in payment, and they are going to default, F. So we need to identify to calculate the customer dynamics, the potential of the customer that is from this 100 is the current, 20 is delinquent, and 5 is default. what is the potential stage 1 result of the future condition. Yeah. So this one. Okay, so we have this one using the, okay, let me delete this, equal to MMULT. This is on the hidden, MM is the
Matrix.
hidden, no. The hidden Markovits model ya. Hidden Markovits model ya. What is the name of the model? Hidden Markov ya.
Markov model.
The hidden Markov model. The MM is the Markov model. MM Markov model. ULT. Using this tree, and then using this the stock of the house, and then Control Shift Enter. Okay, wait a second. Supposedly this one MMULT, and then using the shift on here, and then titik 2, this one, and then tutup, Control Shift Enter. Okay, so we have the potential current in mortgage, still current is 85, delinquent in payment 18.25, and getting default is 20.5. This is the stage 1. What is the stage 2? So maybe there will be some stage 2. Stage 2. The stage 2, if the probability is still the same, from the current to current, current to default, what will be happen in the stage 2? In the stage 2, it will be equal to Markov model, ULT, and then the probability, shift, you click the control and block, and then control and block again, not this one, control and block on the stage 1 result, then close, control shift enter. So the current in mortgage will move into 75, delinquent will move to 16, and the default will move to 30.35. This is the hidden Markov model. So he is trying to forecast on the customer behavior. He want to identify what is the next condition will happen. Yeah, if the current model, the current probability keep on the same, that the current going to current to default 5%, current to failure, current to delinquent. This is delinquent, yeah. This is C current, D delinquent, F default. Yeah. So this is the hidden Markov models. Okay. Palmatir.
Jerry, can I ask you questions?
Yes, sure.
About the Excel before part?
Okay.
For the probability,
Yes.
why is it different? Like from C to D is 0.05, but from D to C is 0.15. Isn't it? I mean, is it supposed to be the same, C to D or D to C, or can it be different?
Okay.
Why is it different?
So basically, we need to understand that the data is 100%, yeah. Okay, this is supposedly all is
because it's probability, right?
Yes, probability. Then we need to conduct this. Oh, okay, so this one, all right. Okay, so basically on to the bottom, yeah. Nah.
Yeah, to the bottom.
So the current in mortgage, meaning the installment, the payment is still right on schedule.
Yeah.
Delinquent meaning more than 30 days. They start to delinquent. DPD 1. Failure default meaning that maybe they start to DPD 60 days, not paying. Yeah. DPD 60 days. Let's say this is one still on time, 0 days, 0 DPD. Day past due. This one is 30 days, day past due. This one is 60 days, day past due. So we consider that the current in mortgage is 0 DPD, still current, still paying on time, no past due. Delinquent in payment, starting to delinquent in 30 days, more than 30 days, or below 30 days. And this one is below 60 days, default. The probability supposedly, in total, supposedly 100%, yeah, 1.0. Okay. This is the roll rate analysis. So this is kind of a roll rate, yeah. What we call is roll rate, meaning that from the customer that is current, still in current, around 85. The current probability that is going down into delinquent, 5%. The current going to default, around 5%. And then the delinquent, already 30 days, that is going back to current, 15%. Delinquent, still in the delinquent, 15%. And delinquent going to default, 5%. And then that is the customer that is in default going back to current, no. Going to delinquent, 80%. And this one supposedly a bit okay. From top to down, yeah. Current to current 85, current to delinquent 15%, current to default 0. Yeah. So we must see it because the 100% is from the column, yeah. So current to current is, let me use the pencil. Okay. This is just using the analogy of mortgage, yeah. So current going to current, 85. Current going to default, 15%. Meaning current is they are still having the on-time installment, yeah. Current to default 0. Why 0? Because it is already 100%. Default, they are only not default, delinquent 30 days. So delinquent back to current, 5%. Delinquent going to still in the delinquent, 15%. And delinquent going to failure, 80%. Total 1. Okay. Default to the current, 5%. Already 60 days. Past due, they past due. And then default to delinquent, 5%. Meaning default, stay in default 90%, 100%. So that answer your question, Evie? Still mute?
Yes, Pak. But I have another question.
Yes, sure.
May I? And then you made the hidden Markov model. 68.25. It's the stage 1. What does this numbers mean?
Okay.
Is it a percentage as well or what?
Okay, good. Good questions. This one is the probability, yeah. This one is the stocks times. We conduct the times here. So given the condition like this, the Markov model, hidden Markov model, calculate the probability of the value of the volume of the current in mortgage. Use if the probability is like this and the stock of the current default and delinquent and default. What is the potential stage 1 condition? The current in mortgage will be from 100 move into 86.25. For the default, for delinquent, going down into 18.25. And then for default, increase 20.5.
You mean 86.25%
Not
of
percent.
the 100
86.25
percent
customer. This is
from 100,
yeah,
from 100. So it's,
from 100.
so it's decreasing.
Yeah, from 100. This one is the house, yeah.
Yeah. So the house means also the customer, right?
Yes.
So if this number means there's possibility of 86.25% that the customer from C group moving to D group.
25 unit.
Sorry. So 86.25 customers will pay.
Yes.
Not per
On the you will still have the zero due date, zero due day past due.
So this is like the number of customers, right?
Yes,
Not the
the same
percentage.
the customer.
Oh, not the percentage, ya,
Not
Pak.
the percentage. This is the
Oh, I
customer.
see. So the number of customer previously 100 in C level is going to decrease to 69.
86.25.
Sorry, yeah, 86.
Yeah. From 20 going down to 18. And then from
Okay.
5 going up to 20. And then next in the second stage 2 result, yeah, not 1. So on the current will go down to 75, default going down to 16, and default delinquent 16, and default will be going up to 33.05.
What is the difference between, stage 1, stage 2? Is that stage 1 and then you do the intervention, the marketing strategy, and then become stage 2? Is that?
Yeah, because we can identify that customer change. The customer, the customer, the probability of customer from the current to default is around 15%. So this one, if this is keep on like this, the probability is still the same, then on the stage 2, the current will go down 75. Delinquency will be going down 16, and the default will go up 33 on the stage 2 result.
Is it like on the next cycle of payment? That's how it will be?
Yeah, because of the after the stage 1 result that we have this 86, and then on the stage 2, given that the stage 1 result is like this, therefore the stage 2 result, if we still using the same probability, then the next condition on the current delinquent and default will be like this.
What separating the stage 1 and stage 2, Pak? Is it because of the time? Maybe stage 1 is the first month,
The first
the
month, the
stage
second
2.
month.
Oh, I see. Without any intervention with marketing strategy.
Without any intervention in the marketing strategy, customer change.
Oh, this is just because of the timeline.
Because of the timeline, we do nothing but customer change. This is what hidden Markov model wants to explain to us.
So if we introduce a new marketing strategy, then we will have a different probability for stage 2.
Yes. So
And then how do we calculate that? Can you give us an example with a different probability of how we calculate the stage 2?
Change the probability, ya, Pak?
yeah, our objective is to change the probability.
Probability.
So for the default customer, let's say for the delinquency customer, we give program. Okay, we conduct program. Let's say the program is to discount the
Interest discount.
rate. interest rate discount. So when the probability of here can be going to 0.10. Yeah. So and then the current from the delinquent to the current will increase to 0.20. That the delinquent to delinquent still move going down to 0.05. Delinquent to default going down to, let's say, 0.5. Yeah, this is 0. Let's say 0.5, 0.05, and then 0.4, something like that. So the point is that you conduct a marketing strategy that increase the current customer.
And if we are going on, I mean, doing the stage 3, like maybe in the next month we do the stage 3 result, perhaps with the same probability, and it will come out the new number of units.
Yes.
From this 3 period of time.
Of course.
We can now know the speed, the rate speed, how it goes down, something like
Yes,
that.
of course. Let's see here.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay. Let's see here using the second stage. Control Shift Enter. Yeah. So the current will go down 66, 15, 43. If you do not conduct a good marketing strategy,
It will going down.
getting deteriorate. Yes.
Deteriorating.
Yes. So customer change. If you do not make your move, then you are in trouble. You do not make your move to change the probability that the delinquency going back to current, you are in trouble. Araso?
Harusnya.
Okay, good. It is very, very interesting how Palmatir create the model. Yeah, I still astonished. I just noticed the model just now by reading his material. Yeah, very good model. The hidden Markov model, very new to me myself. Okay, good. All right, so the hidden Markov model examples, seeing that if you are not developing your marketing strategy, that the relationship will be getting weaker and poor. But if you conduct a good marketing strategy, then you will have a stronger relationship with the customer. If you are not doing anything, damage stage. You are going to be in the damage stage. Okay, good. All right. Insights. The damage stage produce low level of trust and commitment and very low relational norms and cooperation. True customer dependence tends to stay high. So if you are doing nothing, due to the customer change, you are going to end up in the damage stage. Communal states, yeah, there is a level of trust, commitment, dependence between you and the customer. If the customer follow the positive migration, so if you do not change the migration path, if you do not change the migration path, you do not intercept the migration path, then it will goes into the damage stage. But if the migration path is positive, then go on. But if the migration path is negative, then you need to intercept towards the to change the probability of the path. All right. Right, next is the customer lifetime value. Is a key analysis tools for making the acquisition, expansion, and retention decision. So, what is the model. So let's see on the model, the RFM model on the CLV. All right. On the CLV, how do you calculate the CLV analysis? You calculate the CLV using the present value of the customer. You, from the cash flow of the customer, you divide with the discount rate. So let's say in Sonia this is year 1. Let's say lifetime value is around 10 years, 1 until 10, something like that. So until 10, 1, 2, 3, 4 until 10. So what is the cash flow in 1 year? The cash inflow of the customer. Let's say your salary in 1 year is around 1 billion. 1 miliar ya, 1 billion. 1 bill divided by 1 plus discount rate around the bonds rate around 6%, 0.06 plus 1 billion 1.06 2 until 1.06 to the power of 10. What is the present value? This is the lifetime value of the customer. Let's see example. All right. 1 billion in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6, year 7, year 8, year 9, year 10. Okay, this is 1 billion rupiah. Okay, this is the cash flow, cash inflow. And then this is the present value. The present value, so the rate ya. So the rate is around 6%. Discount rate of the Indonesian Sun, surat utang negara. And then the present value equal to 1 divided by 1 plus 6% in the power of 1. 0.94 billion. Yeah. And going down here. Sorry, wait a second. This is the rate is fixed. F4. This one. And then the total is in 10 years. What is Sonia lifetime value to the firm? 7.36 billion. Only by her salary. Yeah. If the salary still keep 1 billion per year. What about if the salary increase with the growing rate? With the growth of 10%. 10% each year. So it will be this one times 1 plus 1 plus 10% F4 by the power of next year. This one, yeah. Enter. 1.1. Okay, it's going here. Oh, 1.2. Oh, no. 1.1 keep must be keep on 1.1. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. So if the growth is 10%, then the present value of Sonia will be 11.2 billion. So this is how we calculate the customer lifetime value analysis. So Sonia is priced as 12 billion. Yes, 12 billion women. something like that. All right. Okay. Okay, this one is simple size. Okay. Okay, this one is to calculate. Okay, next is the RFM analysis. Is Purman CLV, customer lifetime value. Direct marketers have been using simplified version of the customer lifetime value for decades, targeting customer to receive expensive catalog mailings. They use 3 readily available customer behavior, which is recency, frequency, and monitoring. Frequency is the time elapsed since the last purchase. Frequency is the purchase in the last period. Monitoring is the purchases in last period. The volume of purchase in the last period. These RFM, frequency, and monetary variables put customers in rank orders based on their value in the past year, not by modeling, but by rank order sorting. Using the profit generated from a test mailing to a few customers from each group, direct marketers then mail the catalog only to the group with the acceptable return on investment. So, customer change the approach using the RFM model. How to do that? So, this is a database. The recency is there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is the most recent. 1 is the less recent. Yeah. Frequency also 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. 5 is the most frequency. 4 is 1 is the most less frequency. Okay. Why we put this here 3, 5? Let's say if the reason is 3 and then the frequency is 5, then the label will be 35. Because the recency is 3, the frequency is 5, 35. And then the monetary also divided into 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why we put the 3, 3, 5? Because when the recency is 3, frequency is 3, and the monetary is 5, then the label will be 335. This is the segmentation of the customer. 335, 334, 333. Yeah. So the customer will be segmented based on the score. 335, 334, 333. The campaign will be different to each. Yeah. So how to do the RFM model? Let me show you. All right. So Parmatir approach is very robust here. So this is the date of the transaction. This is the transaction. This is the volume. Something like this. This is the date. Right, the date. Date run between date date first or run between first. Let me check. Date run between date run between 1 to 10. Can we do that? No, okay, no worries. So, okay, I forgot to use the date. Let's say this is the date, this is the transaction. Run between 10 transaction to 50 transaction. And then the volume run between 100,000 to 1 million. Okay, let's see like this. Okay, the date will be run between January 1st, 01 01 2020, and then 30 12 2020. Okay, something like this lah. Okay, this is the date, this is the transaction, this is the volume, and then you change the data into recency, frequency, and monetary. The recency is you calculate the data into today. Okay, you minus today's date towards the target date. Let's say run between 1 is meaning that is yesterday, and 365 is last year. Okay, 365 is last year. Okay, 275 days ago that they transact. Frequency will be the same, yeah, the same, something like this, the same, and the motor is still the same. Okay, this is the data, and then let's conduct the recency, the RFM score, RFM. So let's say if the reason is, if this one is more than less than 10 days, then it is 5. If this data is less than 20, then 4. If the data is less than 30, then 3. If the data less than 40, then 2. If the data 2, if the data or else 1. Enter. All right. So because the data change, yeah. Okay. So score is 5 because the most recent is 5, yeah. Frequency also we can adopt that. Okay. If the data is transaction is less than 10, okay, we can adopt that. Okay, this one also we can have this. We can adopt that. So this is the RFM score, the score, yeah. The score of R, the score of F, the score of M. So what is the RFM? Then RFM is this one. Concatenate this one, this one, this one. Oh no, this one, and this one, and this one. Okay, 131, 142, 141, blah blah blah. Okay, so this is the RFM score, and then in conducting the RFM model, we conduct the recency of the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, 5. It is on the frequency 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then the monetary 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, this one is we copy. 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This one is 5. This is one is, the reason is 4. The reason is 3. The reason is 2. The reason is 1. Yeah. So we need to calculate how many people is having 5, 5, 5. Meaning that the reason is very close. The recency is, the frequency of transaction is very high, and the monetary of transaction volume is very high. So we run between, let's say, how many population is there? Population around 30 until 1,000. Let's say until like that. So we have this customer. So this is run between, yeah. So not the real data. You need to conduct the pivot table to calculate this number, yeah. All right. So people that is on the recency of 5, we have 581 customer, which is highly recent, high frequency, and high monetary. So this is the loyal customer. What about this one? The customer which has low recency, very long time ago, and then low frequency, and low monetary, around 839. So basically, this customer which has, okay, they have this customer which has this recency, frequency, and monetary, we conduct the customer change. Usually, let's say the reason is 5. Now the reason is 1, but the monetary is very big, 650, and the frequency is 5. But they are now changing to another customer. The customer change. They move to another competitor. The frequency is 5. Yeah, their frequency is 5, very high, and their monetary is 5 as well. So this one is a very important customer. This is a very important customer. 4, and this is 5. Yeah. This customer around 1,447 is not with us anymore. They are already in the other competitor. They are, recency is very long time ago. So we need to conduct different marketing strategy for them. What do you want to do with them? We need to bring them back to us. So we need to create a marketing strategy to bring them back to us, because they changed now. Previously, they are recent with us. Now, they are not with us anymore. But the transaction is very high. So we need to conduct a new strategy to bring them back to our product or services. Arasa, about the RFM model? Capish? Okay. Later then the assignment will be, next will be for you to develop the model. I will give you the case study on this RFM model, and then you conduct the RFM model and develop the marketing strategy to regarding this customer. This is the loyal customer. 5 is the loyal customer. 1 is the churning customer. You need to develop the retention model for them. Arasa?
I have a question, sir.
Come again. Yes, Wania, questions?
When you
go to monetary and there's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, how do you read the data? Can you explain again?
Okay. Recency.
I don't, all these numbers are randomized, right? So how do you read the data?
Okay. Recency will be when you calculate the recency of the customer. The current date today minus the last transaction date. Okay, let me write it. The pen. Okay. Recency meaning today minus the last transaction date. So you will have the recency of 390 days, 360 days, 71 days, 57 days. This is run between, yeah. Okay. And then frequency will be the total transaction for the whole year. Yeah. Total transaction for the the past 1 year. And then the monetary is the total volume of transaction for the past 1 year. Okay, and then the RFM score will be, if this is very long time ago. You can develop, let's say, this is your call. Maybe if it is still within the week or still within the month, still 5. In the other 2 months ago, 4. 3 months ago, 3. Something like that. Or the first week is still 5. Depend on the product, yeah. The first week is still 5. Let's say you go to the Transmart. At least once a week. That is 5. Or 2 weeks ago, 4. 1 month ago, 2. Yeah, or 1. So the longer the reason, the less reason, the lower the score. The more the reason, the higher the score. The more the frequency, the more the score. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The lower the score, the lower the transaction, the lower the score. The more the volume, the higher the score. The lower the volume, the lower the score. Araso, Wania?
No, I'm sorry. What about the data, the numbers that are below monetary?
Oh, this
So
one.
the one in
This one is the
OPR.
population.
Alright.
The population. This one is the population. This is run between data, yeah. This is run between.
Could you read the data for me? So how do you read that data? Like if you want to examine it, how would you do that?
Okay, let's say. Okay, wait a second. So you see that the okay, all right. You see here, this is the 111, 111, 142. So you want to calculate how many 111, how many 111 in the RFM score. Let's say you use the data insert pivot table. And then next worksheet. And then you want to use the RFM, the rows 111. Okay. And then the this one in here, but you put it sum of value field setting using the count. Okay, can you see? So for the low level is 111, the count of population is 9 customer, 121 3 customer, 131 2 customer. So this is in here, this one. All right. So this is 1 1 1 1, something like that. We have here around 9. So supposedly this is 9 customer, because I put a range between, yeah. This is 9, something like that. Do you get it, Wania?
I'll sit on it for a while.
Still digest.
Yes.
Okay. So you conduct the data pivot, yeah, pivoting, yeah. So you put the RFM score here and the count of the transaction. You can put the other maybe F. So this one use the count. Value setting is count. The same, 9. Yeah, using the F. Or you can use the RFM itself. Using the count. 9, the same, yeah? So you count the population. So you see that in the RFM, what is the population? Only 111. 9 people. And then 1 to 1. 1, 2, 1. This one. How many people? 3. Okay, 3. Something like that. Araso? So this one, you develop the RFM matrix. You conduct the segmentation of the customer dynamics.
Sir?
Sir,
Another
can I have a question?
Coming.
So
the number
the number
there
there is so high because you randomize it, right?
Yes, random between.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, okay. But then the number is more like
three.
3, the one that you
Yes,
put in.
supposedly 3 or 9. I put the rand between to make it easier, yeah. Rather than I
Okay.
calculate one by one, yeah. Okay. Good.
Those number because from this population you put ya Pak, from this the first one. Oh. And this one is a whole different number.
Yeah, this one, I put this one is all rand between. So the concept is the one that is most important to you. Okay. All right.
And one more
Yes.
question, Pak. Like you said, these numbers show us the segmentation of customer we face, and then what kind of intervention of marketing strategy that we need to do. But in this situation, the changes is so fast, rapidly. So the figure will be different, maybe like 10 times a day, something like that. So how should we use that as a base for developing strategy?
What do you mean 10 times a day?
Yeah, like you know, the data. This taken from the historical data, right, Pak?
Yes, from the transaction data.
From the transaction data. Okay, so like in the past, yeah, Pak.
Yes.
Okay.
So I will give you
Yeah.
the data of the date, the transaction, and the volume. And then you create the RFM score and create the RFM model. And then create the marketing strategy for the customer that is like this. The recency is very low, but the frequency and monetary is very high. Yeah. Also for the loyal customer. So basically you create this all is segmentation of the customer. The changing the customer, the dynamic of the customer segmentation. When they are food lover, the segmentation is food lover, but the reason is getting down. The frequency is very high, the monetary is very high, but the recency is not with you anymore. You need to bring them back to you for this food lover customer, something like that. Araso, Evi? Customer is changing. So Palmateer approach on this is very robust, yeah. So he want us to using the hidden Markov model and RFM model to develop for you to notice that customer is changing. Capish?
Still digesting, Pak.
Okay, you can watch again the video later on. Okay.
Again, Pak, sorry, Pak, again, if we use this data, this past data for us to have a strategy for the next intervention that we would take, isn't it because it's historical data, then the next day the data will, the customer is already changed again?
So basically, this is, I will give the data, the most updated data. So within the year 2021. Yeah.
I mean, in reality,
Yes.
like
Okay, of course,
we
will
have.
change. Will change. Every day will change the data. So we need to identify to put the timelines. What we call that? We need to put the scope of date. Yeah. What is the
Let's say, Pak, we use data from January to October this year, so that we can develop new strategy for the starting of 2022. But then we have the data, we have the strategy, but then in January 2022, then the customer is already changed again. So our strategy is become already obsolete.
The customer change will be slow, not immediate. If they are not with you, do not have the recency with you, then it is not easily just immediately convert to you. You need to do something to them. You need to conduct your strategy, your marketing strategy to bring them back to the company. Not immediately change. Okay, next week they move. What happened? Why? There is no trigger on that. Why? Something like that. They have been not with us within 5 months. Why suddenly 1 week they come to us? No, impossible. Yeah, not immediate. It's very slow change. Okay, good. Right, that is all the topic for us tonight. Yeah. So the RFM score. Yep, expansion. Okay. Yep. So, right, before we close the class and post-test, do you have the question about the clustering model? Any question about the clustering model, the assignment? Who want to ask before? Putra kah? The clustering model, is there any problem with you?
No, sir.
Okay, everything okay, yeah? On the clustering, I hope next week we can have the presentation on your assignment.
But I think my group has a question.
Alright.
I think one
Okay,
has a
what is the
question.
question?
Sir, could you please more clearly explain question number 5? What exactly does it require us to do? Because it mentions marketing plan, marketing strategy, and the 4 Ps.
Alright, wait a second.
So we develop all 3, or we only do 4 Ps? Because
Okay, let me
it mentions all 3 of them.
the assignment city. External and internal is okay lah. And then the personal analysis, conduct the clustering. Okay, this one also I put on the YouTube channel, on the YouTube list, on the previous class, on the minutes 50. You can see again the detail. And then your analysis and selecting the target market. Okay, the positioning statement. Okay, the 5 is develop tactical marketing plan on the start, keep, and stop program for your 4 Ps with your marketing strategy. So remember that regarding 4 Ps, product, price, promotion, and place. Regarding your marketing strategy, what is you need to start on the product for the city? What is when you have the cluster model? What is it need for you to start within the product? What is it need for you to keep within the product? And what is it that you need to stop within the product? So, because the current situation, city has their current program in the product. What is you need to start something new in the product? And then the price. What is you need to stop in the price? Because we have scarcity of capital. We cannot do everything because we have scarcity of capital. In order for your capital within the budget, you need to sacrifice one and promote the other one. So we cannot, okay, do this and that. Okay, so you do everything. But we have scarcity of capital. We need to stop some program and make something new. This is maybe accordingly with your know-how only. Yeah, with the case, or if there is not in the case, then you can develop what is the current city doing on that, and then what is the things that you think you need to drop, and then what you think you need to start accordingly with the segment that you select. Capish?
Sorry, sir. So it's basically it's not that we do the 4Ps for our internet banking, but we do the 4Ps of what the business should do as an overall. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
So not the 4Ps of only internet banking.
Accordingly with your target segment.
Okay, and then for number
Let's
two,
say your
when we
target
ask
segment
us
is around the digital savvy. Okay. What about the product? What should the product do on that? What about the price? About the digital savvy customer? What kind of promotion
product
for the digital savvy? What kind of place?
the product,
Something like that.
the product only internet banking, or the product like all the products that Citibank offers?
No, accordingly with the case.
Okay, and then for the clusters for number two, how many clusters should we develop in order to pick one cluster?
So how many product is there?
Only internet banking,
No,
right?
I
So when
mean,
we do
the
our
product
payment,
holdings.
the product holdings. What?
Okay,
No, sir.
so basically there is transaction whether they are digital savvy or the restaurant lover, or what kind of transaction is there? How many transaction categories there?
Five.
Five.
So we take into account their spending on apparel,
Yes,
travel.
we need to identify
lodging.
which transaction is the highest one.
So for example, if our apparel one comes out the highest, then our main customer is
No,
clothing
meaning
lover
that
or
is the
something like that.
persona is the apparel customer. If the transaction, the highest transaction is apparel.
Okay, so we basically cluster all those segments, and then we choose which one our customer persona is from: clothing lover, lodging lover, traveling lover, from those. Yeah.
Yes. Which segment do you choose?
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we want to create a new product, isn't it? So
Oh,
we
yes.
cannot provide all product for the traveler. You create application or something, yeah? No. So you need to identify what segment that interests you the most. Why? And what do you do on the product, on the price, on the promotion, and the place? Arasa?
Jerry, in that case, what kinds of cluster we can use? Two-step cluster or K-mean cluster?
You can use K-means. K-means you can. For K-means, you can identify the highest average transaction, isn't it?
We have to use Z-factor, Pak.
What?
Z-factor.
Z-factor? Do you want
Yeah.
what kind of Z-factor?
We put into descriptive statistic first,
Okay,
and then
I put it all on you, so it's your call. You can do anything.
Yeah.
Do not restrain yourself from my guidance, yeah. So you can improvise yourself. No restriction on any improvisation. Yeah.
So when we create the K-mean structure, then out of the number of customers, the one that basically we determine the highest, then those are the number of customers that we should use based on their income and whichever persona they have. That is our customer. Then we develop an app or a function specified to them.
Your call, based on the case.
You're the teacher.
Yeah, something like that. Yes, something like that. So basically, you have the cluster, and then you identify you develop the K-means, and you identify the highest transaction within the cluster, and then that it means that the persona is belong to that is the persona of that cluster because the transaction is very high. After that, the transaction is very high, and then which persona you choose to integrate with the new technology, and then what kind of strategy you do in the product, promotion, price, etc. I think that explained, Vania?
Okay, thanks.
All right, good. Any other questions? No? Okay, so let's have the post test. I think the post test is already there. Wait a second, the post test.
One more thing. Last week we didn't upload our